The jungle never slept hand, neither did danger. Every sound could be a threat, every shadow a weapon. Yet ancient warriors had to rest, even when enemies were just meters away. So how did they sleep without being seen, heard, or tracked? This mystery led me deep into the forgotten methods of primitive soldiers who mastered the art of vanishing even while unconscious. I started by scouting locations used by tribal fighters. I needed to understand their thinking. Open ground was a death trap. So they used nature's cover, hollow logs, tree roots, riverbanks, and the dense canopy. Their shelters weren't visible, they were felt. By understanding the warrior's mindset, I began to see how they turned the jungle into their ally. One day I stumbled upon a book detailing a tribe's description of their shelters. They mentioned a special place where the ground softened and swallowed sounds. This led me to a slope near a dried creek bed. Here the ground absorbed sound, the air was cooler, and visibility was limited. It seemed perfect. But why choose this particular spot? Then I noticed something crucial. The soil here hardened into a fine powder when dry, making it great for creating masks or pigments. Could this have been a signal for them? A sign that this place was part of their defense system? Maybe. So I decided to build the same kind of hidden shelter, using only materials and techniques available to primitive man. I collected soft bark and moss for the base. It was quiet, breathable, and comfortable enough for sleep. The upper layer was built with bent vines, curved branches, and interlocked leaves. No rope, no cloth, just survival crafted from instinct. It was far from perfect, but it resembled the descriptions in the book. Next, I placed some old clothes and blankets inside to simulate a sleeping body. From a distance, it looked like uneven ground, covered with jungle waste. But inside, it was insulated, invisible, and protective. Not even light could pass through from above. I lay down, and for a moment, I truly felt what a warrior might have felt. My heartbeat slowed, my breath matched the rhythm of the night. Even the insects ignored me. It was as if the jungle itself was holding its breath, keeping me safe. But it wasn't just about being hidden. It was about blending into the environment completely. If I were a fighter, would I really be safe? Would this shelter keep me unseen, unheard, and untracked? To answer these questions, I needed to put myself in the shoes of the enemy. I returned to my camp at different times, approaching from various directions. Sometimes I went around the perimeter, other times I made wide detours. Occasionally I tried to sneak up on it. Each time, no matter how close I got, I couldn't see any sign of a man. There was nothing to indicate anyone had ever been there. In fact, I almost tripped over a wooden dummy that I had placed outside the shelter for this experiment. I had forgotten about it, and so would the enemy. This type of decoy is still used today by modern armies to mislead the opponent. Primitive fighters use similar techniques. Carved dummies made from dried reeds or animal skins were placed in distant spots, often near fire pits or open paths. These fake signs lured enemies toward traps or away from the real sleeping area. Some even scattered crushed herbs to mask their own scent or confuse tracking animals. These discoveries revealed something incredible about their knowledge of terrain. It wasn't just survival, it was silent warfare. Warriors didn't sleep deeply. Instead, they entered sleep in short phases, with one ear always alert. Some covered their bodies with mud or ash to lower their body heat and avoid detection by animals or rival tribes using thermal cues. And if an ambush was possible, one man always remained awake, rotating through the night. This way of life was dictated not just by necessity, but by respect for the natural world. They took only what they needed and gave back in return. Their connection to the land went beyond mere survival. It was a partnership. They understood the language of the forest. In return, the jungle whispered its secrets to them. For example, certain plants were their alarm system. When touched or crushed, they released strong scents or made sounds. Others had thorns that responded to pressure or leaves that snapped easily, giving away positions. Still others provided natural camouflage or materials for traps. The jungle was both their home and their protector, and they knew how to ask for its help. They paid attention to the smallest details. Take, for instance, the seeds they used for food. One wrong step could lead to an upset stomach, or even poison. So they roasted, ground, or mixed seeds to reduce toxins and boost nutrition. They even used fire to preserve food for the future, a skill that allowed them to survive for generations. And then there was water. Its source was carefully chosen. Rivers were not just for drinking, but also for washing clothes, utensils, and weapons. This kept the community clean and tools sharp. Rivers also served as pathways, allowing warriors to travel quickly and silently along their banks. They were not afraid of water. In fact, they thrived in it. Many communities lived on riverbanks because water was life. But what happened when there was no water? That's when the sky became their main source. They developed ways to collect rainwater, storing it in large containers made from wood or clay. They understood that rain was precious, so they never wasted a drop. In the dry season, they followed herds of animals. It was a tough life, but they were ready for anything. They created shelters that could withstand storms, straight branches tied together with vines, forming cone-shaped huts. When it rained, they were protected. They observed nature closely. If there was a big gathering of butterflies, it meant rain was coming soon. If the wind changed direction, it hinted at an approaching storm. Their knowledge of weather patterns helped them predict floods, droughts, and even earthquakes. But maybe the most fascinating thing was their understanding of stars. They kept track of seasons and months based on the positions of stars. It's incredible to think that they figured this out without the help of telescopes or satellites. For them, the sky was more than just a beautiful view. It was a clock and a map, guiding them through the darkness. As I learned more about these ancient people, I realized that their lives were a testament to resilience. They were not just survivors, they were innovators, finding solutions to problems that we still face today. For example, their weapons weren't just sticks and stones. They were tools of precision, crafted to be effective and efficient. Their bows and arrows were designed to be quiet, making it harder for prey to hear their approach. Their spears were sharp and strong, ensuring a quick, clean kill. They were also experts in healing. They knew which plants could soothe pain and heal wounds. They used natural antibiotics to fight infections and set broken bones. They even had surgical techniques that we don't use anymore. Imagine that. Ancient warriors with modern medical skills. But their greatest strength may have been their community spirit. They shared everything: food, tools, even wives. They believed that helping each other was the only way to survive. They valued loyalty and bravery, and they honored their elders. Today, we live in a world where competition is the norm. But these ancient warriors remind us that cooperation can be just as powerful. They taught us that we can achieve more by working together than by fighting each other. Unfortunately, many of these communities have been wiped out by modern society. As I explore their abandoned villages and lost artifacts, I feel a deep sense of sadness. It's hard to believe that these cultures once thrived here, living in harmony with nature and each other. The question is, why did they vanish? The answer is complex, involving wars, diseases, and the changing climate. But I think it goes deeper. I believe it's because we forgot how to live like them, stopped listening to the whispers of the jungle, and turned our backs on the wisdom of our ancestors. As I continue my journey, I hope to find a way to honor their legacy. Their way of life wasn't perfect. It was hard, dangerous, and lonely at times, but it was authentic. It was rooted in reality. That's why I invite you to join me on the Forgotten Path. It's time to rediscover the secrets that our ancestors knew so well. It's time to learn how to vanish into the wilderness, how to become one with the trees and listen to the heartbeat of the earth. It's time to remember who we are and where we came from, because if we don't, we'll lose touch with the very essence of our being. And if this ancient wisdom moves you, if you feel the presence of those who once walked hidden in these same forests, like, comment, and subscribe to The Forgotten Path. This is more than history. It's the return of something long buried, and we are just getting started.